The San Francisco 49ers, owners of the best record in the NFL at 13-2, tops in both offense and defense, and the pick of most of the experts to win it all again.
In the 1987 playoffs, the worst loss of Bill Walsh's career almost cost him his job.
Joe Montana looking slower and slower as the age of the Viking pass rush began to catch up with him.
During the game, we fell behind and were unable to move the ball. I sensed that Joe Montana was not at his best.
Montana straight back, throws, sidelines, intercepted. It is picked off and in for the touchdown.
In the middle of the third quarter, I knew what I had to do.
A rare occurrence where you see Joe Montana lifted from a game.
It was one of the toughest decisions I had ever had to make.
That's a very frustrated quarterback right there.
I didn't want to be pulled. I didn't like being pulled. I always felt that no matter what, we can come back from a deficit with our team.
Joe Cool never got the chance.
Young is safe, and he scores!
It was Steve Young who led the spirited comeback, but it came up short.
Well, the 49ers, who had the best record in football, are not going to be going to the Super Bowl. Not even going to be going to the championship game.
That was the third straight playoff game that we had lost under Bill's coaching. And Eddie was convinced Bill was not doing the job, and Eddie had instructed me to relieve Bill of his responsibilities.
It hit us all with like a ton of bricks. I was expecting to go to the Super Bowl.
I strongly recommended that he not do that. Let's tell Bill, you're still running everything. You're calling the shots. Just coach. We want him to coach because that's where his greatness lies.
Bill was not happy with that, losing the title of president. This change was eventually good, but initially tough.
Almost immediately after his demotion, Walsh rocked a coaches' meeting by proposing the unimaginable.
He said, what do you think we could get if we traded Joe Montana? No one said anything. No one wanted to do it. We went around the room again, and of course it was no, 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 no. And then he passed out pieces of paper, goes, write down what you would take in a trade for Joe Montana.
There were several teams that we discussed the possibility of a trade. One of them, of course, was San Diego. There were also conversations with Denver. There were even conversations with Kansas City.
When no trade was consummated, the embattled genius played Montana and Young against each other with an unprompted, explosive announcement.
Well, our strength is at quarterback, but our problem is we have two, and there's a quarterback controversy developing. We're going to have to select between Steve Young and Joe Montana.
It wasn't accidental. Bill did nothing by accident. Zero. He was doing that for a specific purpose.
When you talk about Bill, it's not an easy story.
There's a quarterback controversy developing.
Bill's come from so many different places, you're never quite sure what the motivation was. I call it creative tension. He loved creative tension. He would create creative tension amongst the players, a sense of insecurity around your job.
Just as there will always be fleas on dogs, there will be a quarterback controversy somewhere in the NFL. And now there is one building here in San Francisco.
I think everybody was caught off guard by the quarterback controversy. He took a lot of heat off of that situation for himself. Could have been a smokescreen.
I was talking to Montana yesterday, and he said he feels fine, and he's disappointed that he's not starting today. Now, Bill Walsh says that doesn't mean Joe Montana's out of this game. He's not going to start. Steve Young is going to start. We want to see how he can do.
For the first 10 weeks of the 1988 season, Walsh played both Montana and Young, ratcheting up the creative tension.
Throws long out in front. Is Taylor. He has it. He will go all the way.
They're both very competitive. Neither wishes to be pulled from a game. Neither wishes to be on the sideline during the game.
Montana throws long down the middle for Rice, but he's got it. Touchdown, 49ers.
There were
moments, Bill would say, I'm not really sure who's going to be the quarterback.
Joe can throw the ball, or Steve can throw the ball on time to Jerry without a problem.
He was calling Joe and I in, and Bill was like, Joe, I'm playing Steve today. Now, this is Joe Montana, right? Steve's got a set of plays, and I'm going to put him in, so just know that's coming.
Joe and Dwight got together a big play on this a few years ago. Joe's in, going right. Steve's in, we're going left.
And you could see Joe just, if Joe had a knife, it would, have been a problem,
Before Steve got there, I don't think Joe felt that kind of pressure at all. He was angry.
If Bill Walsh were to say to you, Joe, it's time to hang it up, would you play somewhere else?
Yes. I would. Wouldn't hesitate.
By mid-November, the experiment seemed to be backfiring. Walsh was losing his players.
It got to a point in the locker room, guys were going, what is he talking about?
He was also losing games.
Phoenix comes back for a dramatic 24-23 win after trailing 23-0. The 49ers offense just failed miserably.
San Francisco's record was just 6-5. All of a sudden, the genius didn't look so smart.